Welcome everybody to the KROGG and QWERTY Show's Under Fire reviews. We got Final Fantasy 7 up, the original. We want to do this now before the remake launches so that we can then do either a comparison video or a different review for the new installment. So, yep, we got our 5 categories as always: gameplay, play value, environment, and originality. And
It's four categories.
What did I say?
5. It's 5.
It's out of 5. It's 5 stars. Yeah, sorry.
5 stars.
Sorry. I missed a spoken. There we go. There's our Final Fantasy 7. That's what we're working with here. Alrighty. And first up, we got gameplay. So, as you see in the picture here, it's got the little battle system. So, for me, the gameplay I think is amazing, obviously. I may be biased here because this is one of my favorite games, but just with the materia system, it had put a lot of versatility, especially in games back in that day. The limit breaks, you had to like level up limit breaks, so it was like a master skill that you could level up, and then you had the different weapons and everything, so that all gave a different feel. And then the different weapons allowed you to put more and more spells on, which in turn changed the gameplay and allowed you to do different things and more involved tactics and everything for the game.
Yeah. And you could stack the materia differently and have different outcomes and stuff.
Yeah.
It was very, very in-depth.
But other than that too, like they had a lot of mini games, like the casino area. They had a lot of good like puzzles. They had like
chocobo racing.
Chocobo racing. They had a lot of good like interactions in towns where you had to do this before you could do that. It wasn't just like a run through town, it was like an actual event being in that town or in that city. Really good. The motorcycle. They had the motorcycle bit where you had your sword and you were slashing the guys on the motorcycle. So yeah, just very versatile gameplay. I thought it was great. I gave it a 5 because I mean, it stands the test of time. I don't know if someone wants to argue with me why it doesn't get a 5. Go right ahead. I'd love to hear what you guys say. All right. So
I'm definitely right there with you.
5. All right. So we got a 5.
5 for the whole gameplay. Like that made that game. The gameplay was huge.
All right. So then we got next up is play value. All right. So I kind of looked at this in a couple different ways. You get about 100 hours plus a gameplay if you're doing like all the weapons, and I mean you could get more than 100. That's why I said plus.
Oh, you can get much more.
Oh yeah, but like it takes like around 50 to 60 hours to beat the game if you just run through it. And then if you did a few extra things, it's about 100 hours. I think that's what it took me the first time because I was doing a bunch of extra shit. But yeah, you could definitely put in like 500 hours. It's pretty good. And then not only that, you could replay the whole game anytime and have a blast. So, very good. For the fact that it is a standalone game.
It's expensive now.
Right. The fact that it doesn't have any kind of, it's obviously a single player. For me, any kind of single player game, I can't give a 5 for play value because that's just my personal opinion. So, I give it a 4. Just because that's...
No, you can't, because any single player game does run out of...
Right, even if you're playing it again, like you're playing the same exact story. Other games you can play a different character, you can, do it totally different. This game, it's like strictly just that's it. Like maybe something like Fable, it would have maybe could reach a 5 because it can change, but
yeah, unless you're like a speedrunner, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's not. You're not really getting your play value out of it. You're just trying to accomplish something.
That is.
It's like saying I'm getting value out of running a marathon. Like, you're not getting value. You're just an idiot for running that much.
I'm right there with you. It doesn't get a 3. It gets a 4 because it was so good.
Yeah, because
you're not getting.
That's what I'm saying. If it was one game that you got like 100 hours on and you would never play it again, kind of like Uncharted 4, I would probably put that at like a 3.5. But the fact that you could just go back, it's so good. You could play it anytime and have a blast. Yeah, that's why I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Alright, so next up, we have... environment. For our third category is environment. So this is basically any community. And I mean, obviously this game has a great community, I guess, in like forums and stuff like that. So you can kind of factor that in. But the game, like obviously it's single player. But other than that, I mean, diverse landscapes. The cities were beautiful. The Mako reactors. You got a very immersive world. Like every time you went to a new area, it felt different. It felt like you were in a new part of the game. It didn't feel like the same old recycled stuff. Different, you know, everywhere you went, even in the same area, you keep running against different creatures, and you'd be like, "Oh, what was this?" And like, you know, they have the weapons, the ultimate weapons and stuff that you have to find them. There's so many Easter eggs. Great. I think the environment in that game is awesome. I gave it a 5.
Yep. Yeah, they did a very unique thing with a lot of some of the screens where you had to move through like forests or something. There was like an overlay over the screen, and you like move in a 3D realm behind it and stuff. So they really did a lot of crazy tricks to make it, to really push the PS.
Put you in the environment. Oh yeah, and then now I'm thinking of it, like all the flashbacks and stuff, and like filling out the storyline, like that gave you environment because it built the world around it. Like even stuff you couldn't see in where you were actually playing, you saw flashbacks of it, and then later you would like come across like the Genova like reactor or something where you saw her and you see all the canisters and everything, but earlier in the game you saw like a flashback of that. So like just little things like that just makes it feel like you're in that world, makes it immersive.
Yeah.
So I gave it a 5.
I also gave it a 5. Not to mention, first time you see Emerald Weapon, you've been crushing stuff for days in the game because you've been doing a slow playthrough, and the first time
that kind of goes into play value,
crushes you.
That's kind of play value, but yeah, weapons themselves are a good environment. All right, our last and final category is originality. Let me put up the originality photo here for you guys. Let me not skimp you. Here you go. There's a picture of the materia system in action. So it shows all the weapons and your armor and all the slots and then all the different color materia and what they do and blah blah blah. So yeah, for
Knights of the Round.
So for me, that is a huge part. Like when I think originality for like Final Fantasy 7, I instantly just go materia. Like that system, I don't think it's been beaten. It could definitely be elaborated on, but would it make it better? I don't know. Could ruin it. It's just such a really well balanced system, and it's original. There's no one else uses it. No one else came up with it. No one else has really mimicked it, kind of, but not quite. A little different.
Yeah, materia works so well. It's odd that nobody mimics.
But even if someone did mimic it, then that just shows its originality because people, copying materia. So, I also have in here the ultimate weapons. So we just talked about the weapons. When you kill them, you get weapons. And then they're like super powerful weapons, but you don't need them to finish the game. So like I thought there was it was one of the first games I knew that really had a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of like things you could do but didn't have to. Like that in Final Fantasy 8 were like the first games where I'm like, yeah, it's 60 hours to beat it, but you could put like 300 hours into this game. Like you get the game guides, or YouTube was just starting to like kind of be around, or not, maybe not YouTube, I don't know, I can't even remember, something like that, whatever. But you'd be able to look up, you'd be like, oh crap, and then you go back and replay the game and play it differently, and it's just, I don't know, I gave it a 5 for originality. Again, I'm biased. This was another game I'd probably give it a 4, but
honestly, like you
can't replicate it.
Like the storyline.
Well, yeah, think about it. Final Fantasy 7, so what? They had 8 installments after that and weren't able to replicate it? They had good games, don't get me wrong, in their own right, but yeah, that's why they gotta do a Final Fantasy remake, because you just can't capture it twice. So yeah, I gave it a 5. What do you got on originality?
5.
5.
Big 5.
Alright.
No game like it.
Any last comments, KROGG? You wanna put in about Final Fantasy? Any of the lore or anything you want to talk about?
No, I don't have anything else to add.
I was just wondering. Alright, so got the score here. Second. I was hoping you'd say something so I could take some time to put the score up. And the score is
Can't think right now.
4.75 stars. So pretty damn good.
4.75.
Almost a.
It's a classic, so.
Yeah. I mean, when I think Final Fantasy 7, I just say 5 out of 5 just because freaking Final Fantasy 7. But yeah, of course. I mean, it's an older game. There's some room for improvement, and we'll see what they do with the remake. Any predictions for the remake, KROGG? I think we're gonna get like a 4.25. That's my guess on this rating scale.
4.75 again.
You think 4.75?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know. It's looking.
It's a prediction.
It's looking pretty crazy.
Right.
So we'll see.
All right, there you guys have it. That is Under Fire with Final Fantasy 7. Put in the comments below if you like the video. If there's any games you want to see us review or cut down or whatever you want. Put that down there. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to see great content coming to you on a daily basis. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.